Hello everyone. Hey, welcome back to the Monarch Plastic Surgery YouTube channel. Dr. Paul Leahy here. I have with me a bunch of things here which I guess I would consider to be the essential things that I like to have, or I like to use as a plastic surgeon. Okay, so let's start with the number one thing. Okay, when we're doing surgery in the operating room, you've got to come prepared with music. I like, this thing's kind of heavy. This speaker here, this Bluetooth speaker, but it puts out really good sound, and if you're going to listen to it, it's got to be quality, right? So you try to find music that just about everybody of different ages and things like that can put up with in the operating room. A lot of classic rock, you'll find some country in there, you might find, you know, who knows what. Sometimes we mix it up a little bit, but this is a must right here. It goes with me in my handy dandy Crown Royal bag, just because it gives padding, and then a little container like that. Let's see what else I brought with me. So when you go to the operating room, you really can't wear any metal jewelry, but you can wear silicone wedding ring, and I happen to have with me a bracelet that my niece Ella made me, so I like that. And you got to have a scrub hat, and of course you wear masks too, but it wouldn't work too good for this video. But so these are a couple of my favorite scrub hats. Got the Kansas City Chiefs, awesome. Okay, I had a friend of mine give me a scrub hat with the music group, the band Van Halen. That's their symbol. So I'll bust this one out sometimes. And this is one I got from one of my attending professors at KU, and I was in training, and I still love this a lot. So break that out, and it kind of reminds me back in the old days with Dr. Hendricks, Dr. Perez, and Dr. Lawrence. I'm forever grateful to all three of those, especially Dr. Lawrence gave me my chance starting out in plastic surgery, and reminded me a lot of my dad, and he was a plastic surgeon too, so that's kind of a fun connection, and still keep in touch with him, so I'm grateful for all that he gave me. You never ever would go to his operating room if you didn't know exactly everything about that patient and how you were going to handle that operation. So I'm grateful for being prepared like that. Speaking of that, so another thing that we use a lot of times in plastic surgery are we need some magnification for our vision. I'm lucky still right now. My eyes are still pretty good, naked eye. But for seeing up close, especially like for hand surgery or working on nerves or something like that, these surgical loops are not pretty to look at by any stretch of the imagination, but these particular loops here can magnify 2.5 times, which is super helpful. And these are kind of special to me, not kind of, they are special to me because these actually belong to my dad. So when you get these, when you first start out in training, they stamp your name. So his name was Jim Leahy. And so I kept the frames and had P. Leahy put on this side. So these are special to me, even if I didn't wear them in surgery. So put those back in their case. What else? So when you're in the operating room, you can't drink or eat, of course, but you always got to hydrate ahead of time and afterwards, right? And I always like to chew gum. This is my favorite kind of gum. This is the Wrigley's 5 Rain Spearmint. It's the only gum I've ever found. It doesn't lose its flavor forever. I can chew this all day long. Love it. I don't eat a lot of meals during the day, which is not healthy. I'm not trying to suggest it is on the big surgery days. Fortunately, when I'm here in the office or whatever, Maggie and I, my nurse, we can get some lunch together or something like that, but not during big surgery days. So I pretty much carry all kinds of like protein bars with me. I love the Cliff chocolate chip. Highly recommend. Love it. Chapstick, gotta carry with that. In terms of other things we use in the operating room, so I wanted to show you a couple things. So these are, you may recognize these as tweezers. We call these pickups generally in surgical talk. And you notice these have a gold ending to them, so we call these gold-handled Adson, A-D-S-O-N, named after Dr. Adson years ago. The gold handle is not just because we think we're cool in plastic surgery. They actually have a special purpose and some unique design to them, that they have a little bit beefier tips at the top so that you can grab the needle more effectively. So we love these here in our practice, and they have a matching pair of needle drivers, we call these. So if you fish, you probably have heard these called hemostats. They're a little bit different than a hemostat because the jaws on the end are just slightly different. And so like here's an example of some suture, some stitch material. Just happened to grab one. So they come obviously sterile in a package. This one happens to have 2 needles with it. And so the needles come with the suture material already swedged onto the needle, so we don't have to mess around with that in surgery, which is nice. So that's kind of how that works, and couldn't do our job without it, obviously. Another kind of a fun instrument that Maggie and I use all the time. We love doing facelifts here in the office. These are actually called facelift scissors, or the true name is rhytidectomy scissors. So a rhytid, which is spelled R-H-I-D-Y-T, something like that. I'm not very good at that, but so rhytid is a wrinkle. So rhytidectomy, ectomy means removal of, so you're removing wrinkles. So rhytidectomy is another kind of a fancy medical term for facelift surgery. And these are facelift scissors, so they're designed specifically for that operation, and they have some unique features to them in the sense that they can cut like regular scissors, but the ends of the jaws here, as you spread them this way, they actually can help you divide tissues and open things up better. So it's kind of a lot of this sort of motion for some of the surgeries we do here. So these are awesome. It'd be hard to do it without them. And let's see, speaking of other very, very, very critical things, an awesome headlight. These put out tons of light. Like, I mean, sometimes you have to turn it down. It's so bright because it like shines back on you and kind of blinds you a little bit. And you got to be careful when you're wearing it. You don't stare at somebody else in the operating room. That's not fun. But they've made them so nice now with a battery pack you can just hook onto your belt, but the actual headlight part is fairly light, because sometimes we do, really, really, really long operations, and this would get uncomfortable for long periods of time. And let's see, last thing I think I got out here, this is lidocaine. This is numbing medication or local anesthetic that we use to do. I'd be hard pressed to find an operation that we do in plastic surgery that doesn't use this, some version of local anesthetic in some way. Our job would be almost impossible, and it gives tremendous comfort for patients after surgery. One more thing I guess I forgot. I take my iPad with me just about everywhere I go. This case has been beat up quite a bit, but especially because we have a new tool here at Monarch, you may have seen on some of our other social media stuff, where we can take photographs of a patient's chest, and then we can simulate what it might look like with different sorts of breast implant procedures and things like that. There's only 13 of these devices in the world, we're told, and we happen to have one here in Leawood, Kansas at Monarch Plastic Surgery. It's really cool, it's fun. It was a little learning curve on how to get using it pretty well, but Maggie and I and the other surgeon groups here have it down pretty good. So come see us, it's pretty cool, and I'll show you how it works. So those are some of the, I don't know, maybe 10 things that are, I guess, essential to our jobs here as plastic surgeons. I hope you guys have a great day.